After a tricky start to the season and 4 different formation changes later, have Crystal Palace finally found a system that's going to bring them success? Now, I've got to be honest, I was struggling to find the right tactical setup here at Crystal Palace. I think this 4-2-2-2 formation was just too narrow, and Mark Gay and William Pacho really didn't feel solid defensively. I think the 3-4-2-1 formation was way too attacking, left the team completely unbalanced, especially in the wide areas of defence. And whilst this 5-4-1 formation worked quite well for me in the early part of Season 1, with the arrival of the new striking sensation, the 25-year-old Nigerian Terry Moffey, who I was hoping would come in and form a formidable partnership up front with this man Dominic Solanke, just having one man up front on his own to lead the line wasn't going to cut it moving forward. And so here we find ourselves with our brand new 5-2-1-2 formation. It returns Anderson to the starting 11 and to my back line, returns the likes of Mitchell and Munoz back to their rightful positions. Wharton and Decore can continue their partnership in the heart of my midfield, and it saves Kamada being shunted out to the left-hand side, him now playing directly behind the two strikers of Dominic Solanke and Terry Moffey. And whilst we may not have got 3 points in our first game in the new system against Spurs, if it was not for the absolute heroics of Guillermo Vicario in goal, we would have scored an absolute bucket load of goals. And so I certainly think this is going to be the new look Crystal Palace moving forward. One person I do have to give a real shout out to though is this man, the 28-year-old Joachim Andersen, a leader of men and the club captain. I've got to be honest, I was kind of trying to force him out of my defence, putting the likes of Mark Gay and William Pacho as the two starting centre-backs, but it just goes to show they don't have the confidence to play there on their own, and they need that leader of men, the Danish warrior, to come in, provide that solidity, provide that experience to allow the likes of Mark Gay and William Pacho to play their best football. And as for Kamada, he certainly showed that he had that something special against Spurs. On a return back to his more familiar position just behind the strikers, he almost got an assist early doors, and he did get a goal in the second half. It was exactly the sort of performance that I wanted to see from the 28-year-old. Long may it continue heading into the second half of the season. Speaking of getting the best out of the players though, Tyrick Mitchell, my left back, has been an ever-present in my starting 11 in the 2 seasons that I've been in charge here at Crystal Palace. And with his contract only having 8 months left remaining, I have made it a priority to try and keep him at the club for the foreseeable future. He will get his contract extension, he will get a nice little salary bump to boot, and both of us will say thank you very much as we tie Tyrick Mitchell down to another 3 years here at Crystal Palace Football Club. However, with the long-term future of the left-hand side of my defence now tied down, but with £33 million still left to spend in the January transfer window, which is only a matter of mere months away, it kind of got me thinking, what other areas of the team do I potentially need to improve? Now, I've mentioned before the influence of this man Joachim Andersen, and of course I do see the long-term future at the back with the likes of Mark Gay and William Pacho. They do seem to all perform really well together, so I don't want to break up that partnership. But with the 24-year-old Chris Richards being the only deputy that I've got in that area of the pitch, and with me now switching to having 3 centre-backs at the pitch on all times, that position may well be an area of concern moving forward, and I might want to bring in one more additional defender to act as a reserve. I think with the likes of Czech Decore and Adam Wharton still of course continuing their fine form in the heart of my midfield, and with an able deputy in the 78 rated Jefferson Lerma and the 18-year-old youngster Archie Gray really starting to show some great potential, central midfield is an area of the team that I'm pretty comfortable with. One area though that does have big question marks is that central attacking midfield role. Yes, Kamada seems to have got the nod at the moment, but he hasn't exactly started off life here at Crystal Palace in flying form. Let's hope he can resurrect that in the second half of the season. And with Raksaki still struggling to pick up where he started off at the very beginning of Season 1, I'm not quite sure what to do with the future of the 22-year-old. Do I keep him at the club and let him be an understudy to Diachi Kamada? Or do I potentially consider putting him on the loan list to try and see if he can get some first-team football elsewhere? Let me know down in the comments what you think. And as for the future of this man Fabio Vieira, he had a really good run at the back end of Season 2, but apart from that, he's been so poor since joining at the very beginning of Season 1. What do I do about the future of Fabio Vieira? Does he have enough to try and see if he can force his way back into the starting 11, or should I just cut my losses, stick him on the transfer list and get rid of him and look to replace him once again? Let me know down below what you think. And then the burning questions up front with Dominic Solanke and Terry Moffey, of course, cementing themselves as my first choice striking partnership. What do I do with the future of this man, Jean-Philippe Mateta? I've got to be honest though, considering he hasn't exactly played too many games, he is on fine form up front. He scored 3 goals in 5 appearances, 2 and 2 in the Premier League. Maybe I should be looking to give him a bit more opportunities moving forward. And so with us having still quite a lot of games to get through before we get to the start of the January transfer window, let me know down below what areas of the team you think are the most important to try and improve. Do I look for that backup in central defence in case the likes of Anderson, Mark Gay or William Pacho pick up any injuries? Do I look to try and provide some more stiff competition to Kamada in that central attacking midfield position? Or do I look to bring in one more striker to try and compete with the likes of Dominic Solanke, Terry Moffey and even Jean-Philippe Mateta on the bench? Let me know down below what you think. Until then though, it's time to dive straight back into the football. It's a clean sheet away from home as we draw 0-0 to Austria Vienna, and it's another draw all 1-1 this time at Selhurst Park against Burnley. It's 3 draws on the bounce. This time it's a high-scoring affair, drawing 3-3 away from home against Manchester United, before finally getting back into the win column with a 2-1 victory away from home in the Europa Conference League, before getting back into the win column in the Premier League with a 1-0 victory at home against Luton Town. I don't necessarily think it's been the most electric start to this episode that I was hoping for, but it's certainly an unbeaten one, and one that has taken us to just within 3 points of West Ham United in 5th place in the Premier League. And with the Hammers being the very next team that we're going to be facing off against away from home at the London Stadium, it is really time to put our European qualification mission to the test. Both teams vying for a spot in the Europa League next season. Can we go and get a much needed 3 points here to really put ourselves in a commanding position? There's Selhurst being chased down up front here as we start to look to press high immediately and get ourselves on the front foot here as Decore wins it back well and gives it to Mark Gay, who gives it to William Pacho. Exactly the sort of start I was hoping that these Crystal Palace players would make. Mitchell now turns it round the corner into Anderson, floats it right the way over to Munoz on the right hand side unmarked. Really good start here from Crystal Palace. It's Adam Wharton to try and bring this one forward. I was looking for a ball right the way out to Tyrick Mitchell, couldn't quite find him, and West Ham now will try and see if they can get away, but in the end they run into a brick wall in Decore, and in the end the attack breaks down. So it's Mohamed Kudus down this right hand side. He's blocked off by Pacho, full of confidence now, playing in his preferred left hand side of a 3-man defence here, as Terry Moffey now has the opportunity to drive forward. Can he try and see if he can lay it back off to Pacho, who's made the run all the way through into Solanke, round the corner looking for Kamada, well intercepted though by Alvarez. Paquetá now, wonderful ball through. Can Tyrick Mitchell get there ahead of Kudus? No, he can't. Kudus has got the pace to get away, and now we try and come across the cover. It's Evan Nilsson. Evan Nilsson strikes, forces Henderson into his first save of the game. It's going to be a West Ham corner here. James Ward-Prowse who's going to be the man who's going to take it, of course, the set-piece specialist, as I know all too well from my West Ham United career mode, and it's Tyrick Mitchell who just heads it clear off the line. My word, what an absolutely fabulous clearance that was from the left back, fresh off his new contract. Evan Nilsson though into the box, blocked off by Anderson. We just about get away with one there. So it's West Ham who have got the throw in with Tomiyasu. Kudus with a lovely little flick into the path of Kral. Certainly of the two teams, they've started off the better, but we've won the ball back here. Can we try and hit them on the counter-attack? Dominic Solanke looking for the run of Terry Moffey, tries to play it over the top into the channel, but Alvarez is equal to it. Really good defending in the end. Into James Ward-Prowse, nice ball into the striker. That's a lovely pass into Evan Nilsson, who skips away from the challenge there, fires a strike straight at Henderson, beats it away. Decore into Kamada, who's come deep. Adam Wharton, lovely touch and turn away from the defender, and now he releases a lovely pass into Munoz down this right hand side. He's got space to run into here. Can he try and find a ball into the box? He does, looking into the back post for Terry Moffey. What an incredible goal that was, and Terry Moffey with another diving header, just as he did at the very beginning of season 2, to give us a 1-0 lead here at the London Stadium. Absolutely incisive counter-attack. Terry Moffey with acres of space down that right hand side with a looping cross right over to the back post. Terry Moffey still had so much to do, but a wonderful diving header right across the goalkeeper in the perfect spot that you would want him to put it in, and he's given us a 1-0 lead. Fabulous goal. So Munoz, fresh off of that wonderful assist, has got the confidence now to continue to drive down this right hand side. Solanke into Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton cuts it back into Terry Moffey. Terry Moffey has options, finds an option in Tyrick Mitchell. Mitchell goes to strike, and he strikes it low and hard into the bottom right hand corner. That is a brilliant finish. We've doubled our lead here. Well, Tyrick Mitchell, fresh off his new contract with absolutely lovely confidence. Look at that. He still had so much to do. A first-time strike right across the goalkeeper. And it's a strike that Dominic Solanke and Terry Moffey would be absolutely delighted with themselves. The left-back, Tyrick Mitchell, gives us a 2-0 lead. So it's Tyrick Mitchell once again to bring it forward, floats it over to Munoz, and having those two wing-backs in this formation is really helping me create width and get space on those sides that I just wasn't able to get with that 4-2-2-2 formation. Emerson almost blocked off by Kamada. Tomiyasu plays it down the line now into Lucas Paquetá. James Ward-Prowse has a chance now to bring it forward into Evan Nilsson, blocked off by Anderson, back in the starting 11, putting in crunching challenges exactly as I would expect him to do. Lucas Paquetá though down this right hand side, can he try and float a ball in? He can into Evan Nilsson. In the end it comes to nothing. Munoz now to bring it away into Dominic Solanke. Solanke though under a bit of pressure from Lucas Paquetá. West Ham have got their tails up here at the beginning of the second half as they try and see if they can fight back, but Mark Gay comes across. Really good defending from the Englishman, and Munoz tries to clear it, doesn't clear it far enough though. Lucas Paquetá wins it back high again, back into Evan Nilsson. Gay tries to put a challenge in, doesn't win it back. It's played out to the left hand side of Emerson, who's offside. Quinton Merlin on as a sub, picks it up on the left hand side into Decore. Almost runs into a bit of problems, but just about manages to wriggle away and gives it to Merlin, who's now in a really nice pocket of space, and the young man floats a wonderful ball into Dominic Solanke. That is absolutely brilliant. We've got our third goal of the game, and surely now that's game over. Well, every single goal has either come from the left or right hand side side. Those wing-backs are providing us with fabulous width that we just were not getting before. And that is a brilliant ball in from the left-hand side from Merlin. Dominic Solanke just goes into the penalty area. Lovely little header down. The goalkeeper's got no chance. It's 3-0. There's Kudos to float it in. He looks for Evan Ilson. He finds Inacho. And West Ham United are back in the game. Well, from absolutely nothing, Mohamed Kudos just seemed to ghost down that right-hand side. Lovely little ball in, unmarked. And Inacho, on as a substitute, just ghosted his way into my 6-yard box. He's not going to miss from there. Are West Ham back in the game? Is it a lifeline? Let's see. That's Merlin out wide on this left-hand side, looking for a run of Decore. Finds the run of Decore, and Decore now bursts past a couple of challenges. Lovely stuff here. Merlin back into the box. Merlin looking for the cutback into Dominic Solanke, and that certainly is game over now. Dominic Solanke celebrates with the rest of the players, and that's a wonderful way to respond. Well, we fell asleep at the back, but we've come alive once again up front, and yet again, it is from the left-hand side of the pitch. Merlin once again getting his second assist, plays it into Dominic Solanke, who just slots it into an empty net. It's 4-1 Crystal Palace, and 4-1 is how the game will end here at the London Stadium as I shake the hand of David Moyes and I salute the travelling fans. An absolutely fabulous performance from all round, but that man Dominic Solanke with his 2 goals late on gives us a commanding 4-1 victory away from home at full time. It's a big win, a deserved win, and one that finally lifts us up to 5th place in the Premier League into the Europa League spot for the first time this season. I'll say it before and I'll say it again, I felt so much more comfortable with this 5-2-1-2 formation, and it seems like it's the same for the rest of my team as well. Of course, William Pacho and Mark A once again full of confidence since the return of Joachim Andersen to the starting 11, but I think the plaudits must go to the right and left hand side of my defence. Daniel Munoz providing an assist early doors, fresh off his new contract. Tarek Mitchell with an absolutely fabulous finish to double our lead, and fresh off the bench, Quinton Merlin from that left hand side providing 2 much needed assists that this man Dominic Solanke was all too happy to put into the back of the net. It seems like opposition defences just cannot live with the width that the likes of Tarek Mitchell and Daniel Munoz are providing us, and with morale starting to build once again, hopefully that is a performance that we can build on in the second half of the season. But with the real test about to come up next in the form of Manchester City going to Selhurst Park as we return home in front of our own fans, this is going to be the true idea as to just how good this new tactical setup is. We're up against it here, against the reigning Premier League champions, but with the fans and the players full of confidence, I'm hoping we can get a huge 3 points here today. That's Munoz here on the right hand side. Lovely little ball through into Adam Wharton, who just found a lovely little pocket of space. Solanke into Kamada. Kamada across to Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton across the box here. Lovely start to the game. Edison just about gets there ahead of Terry Moffey, but my word, Crystal Palace starting as we mean to go on. Mark A into Adam Wharton. Lovely little one touch down the channel now as Munoz plays it into Dominic Solanke, looking for some sort of overlap here. Chips it over the top into Munoz. Munoz to try and play it across, gets a corner. I'll tell you what, step aside Pep Guardiola. We are playing some really lovely football here against the English champions as it's floated into the box. This time Edison gets there first though, but it's Phil Foden though who brings it away from Manchester City. He's blocked off though by the big man Anderson, proving exactly why it was the right decision to put him back into the starting 11 as Terry Moffey loses it in a really good spot there, and now Akanji will try and bring this one away for Manchester City. Gvardiol into Erling Haaland after a bit of a shaky opening 10 minutes. City now starting to find their feet and bring the ball forward here into my half. Julian Alvarez now looking for someone out wide. Finds Kevin De Bruyne, who finds João Cancelo. Gets it back. Lovely play here from Manchester City, opening up my defence at will, but William Pacho comes across with a lovely challenge, and now we'll bring this one forward. Terry Moffey, the option is open. Can he find him? He can find him. Terry Moffey steps away from the challenge here. Into the box he goes. Can he try and cut it back for Dominic Solanke? He does. Solanke, what a save from Edison. Oh, I thought we were about to give ourselves the 1-0 lead there, but my word, the outstretched arm of Edison was just too much, and we couldn't get the goal, but it's floated back in. Munoz can't get his head on it. Dominic Solanke will. Nods it back out to Wharton. Wharton at the second time of asking will try and float it across. João Cancelo blocks though. Kamada will pick it back up. Looks to the back post. Looks for Terry Moffey. Ruben Diaz is in the right place at the right time. Terry Mitchell though will float it back in. Gvardiol heads it clear. Moffey will try and get on the end of it. Ruben Diaz once again though, and Kamada tries to get on the end of it too, but Vitina clears it away for City. Munoz now into Adam Wharton. This is really good stuff here from Crystal Palace as Kamada lines up a strike. It's blocked off. It will fall to Daniel Munoz though once again, and the young man now will try and see if he can drift out to the byline. Gets another corner. We are everywhere at the moment, absolutely relentless as we knock on the Manchester City door, but we're unable to break it down. It's floated back in. Ruben Diaz heads it away out to Kamada. Wharton will get a second bite of the cherry here, looking for an option, tries to take it on himself, bundles through though to Munoz. Munoz goes to the byline once again, plays it across Edison, too close to him though. Julian Alvarez into Erling Haaland. Haaland blocked off though, really good defending once again, and now Kamada to bring it away. Kamada has options, doesn't find them, and Kamada is still finding his feet here in a Crystal Palace shirt. Down the line into Phil Foden, lovely pass here, Phil Foden right on the stroke of half time, finds a ball into Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland though is blocked off by Anderson, who's done a really good job. City have got a corner. We cannot give away a really cheap goal here right on the stroke of half time after absolutely battering the Manchester City goal. Julian Alvarez just nodded over as the referee blows for half time. There's Jeremy Doku at the beginning of the second half. What a crunching challenge that is from Mark Gay. Brilliant stuff from the young man. Adam Morton turns away from a couple of challenges and is blocked off by Kevin De Bruyne though. Manchester City, it's a 4-on-3 situation. Julian Alvarez has a man open here in Erling Haaland. Plays it back into Doku, into Erling Haaland. Manchester City give themselves a 1-0 lead. Well, we were caught out there by the Manchester City press as we tried to counter. We committed too many men forward, and when you make mistakes, of course, a team like Manchester City are going to make you pay. And of course, who else is it going to be but the star striker in Erling Haaland, who fires them into a 1-0 lead here at Selhurst Park. We've got about 65 minutes remaining on the clock here, and I have made a few substitutions to try and see if I can ignite some sort of spark into this attack. One of them being this man, Gray, skips away from a couple of challenges now. Decore also just shrugs his shoulders away, and Decore is making a marching run out to the left-hand side into Merlin, the left-back, trying to see if he can get an assist here. It falls to Dominic Solanke, who takes it on, and Dominic Solanke fires it into the top left-hand corner, and just like that, we're back in the game here at Selhurst Park. Well, the substitutes combining and making an immediate impact here. It's floated over from Merlin. Fabio Vieira tried to get on the end of it. It fell to Dominic Solanke and picked that out. Absolutely fabulous strike here. This time Edison had no chance. It's 1-1. That's Rodrigo for City now. Back into Akanji as they look to try and see if they can step things up here and get themselves back into the lead. Lovely little pass into the box. Julian Alvarez back into Haaland. What a save. Well, that was Manchester City at their very best, and we almost became undone. But if it wasn't for the heroics of Dean Henderson to keep the goal at bay, and we just about managed to keep the English Giants at bay as well, as Dominic Solanke's hacked down. How on earth is that not a free kick, referee? Haaland back into Phil Foden, wriggling around here right on the edge of the box. Phil Foden goes to the edge. He manages to find Rodri into Erling Haaland. Back into Rodri. Lovely little touch, but Henderson is equal to it. Merlin gets away from the challenge of Phil Foden, and look at the space he's got to run into here. The left back on as a sub, full of fresh legs. Look at this run. All the way he goes. Looks to dink it across. Does dink it across to Fabio Vieira, who heads it wide. Kevin De Bruyne now for City. About 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining on the clock here for one of these two teams to find the breakthrough here. As João Cancelo down this right-hand side. He's blocked off by Pacho, but he's given away a foul in the process. And it's a free kick here in a really dangerous position that Kevin De Bruyne, of course, is going to take. Floated into the penalty spot. It's headed in by Erling Haaland off the bar. My goodness, we just about managed to clear our lines there. It falls out to Kevin De Bruyne deep into stoppage time. Anderson will head it clear. Moffey will look to get on the end of it. He does. Can we just try and see if we can hack it away with Fabio Vieira? City, though, still knocking at the door with Matheus Nunes now down this left-hand side. We've got to try and cover off this cross. Make sure it does not go into the box. They've still got it, though. It does go in. Anderson, of course, the big man who heads it away. Out to Dominic Solanke. Fabio Vieira picks it up as the referee blows for full time. Well, 1-1 against the Premier League champions is certainly a result I think most of the Crystal Palace fans would have taken at the beginning of the game. We rode our luck a little bit towards the end, but we did have our chances to secure the 3 points here today that unfortunately we couldn't take. As it finishes here at full time, Crystal Palace 1, Man City 1. It's another fine performance in our new tactical setup. I thought defensively for the most part we looked particularly solid, and it's no surprise to see that my 3 centre-backs are now the highest rated players in my team. I thought Quinton Merlin once again put in a sensational performance off the bench, just like he did against West Ham United earlier on. Dominic Solanke getting on the score sheet once again with another thumping finish is exactly what I want to see from the 27-year-old Englishman, and is why he is leading the goal scoring chart so far this season with 7. I've got to be honest though, I've still got some question marks over the future of this man Fabio Vieira. He had a wonderful opportunity towards the end of the game to seal the 3 points for us that he did not manage to take. And whilst Kamada still seems like he is struggling with 4 goals and 4 assists, he's doing a lot better in that position. And with fan favourite Rak Saki certainly not going to be a man that I'm going to look to sell, as he's only 22 years of age and had his best years ahead of him. Maybe it might be time to cut the Fabio Vieira experiment short and allow him to seek pastures new away from Crystal Palace. But for now though, with us being knocked out of 5th place down to 6th with a point separating us and Liverpool in the fight for that final Europa League spot, it is the English Giants whom we're going to be facing off against next, with Dominic Solanke eager to score once again and continue his fine form against his former club. It's Alexander-Arnold now for Liverpool to get us started here in the opening 5 minutes, as Dennis now out to McAllister. McAllister. McAllister looking for an option on the edge of the box here. He's being chased down by Anderson, who can't quite seem to get the ball away from him as Curtis Jones just lifts it over the bar. Mark Gay, though, into Adam Wharton. Tries to beat the Liverpool press. Does beat the Liverpool press and now gets away from a couple of challenges here. And can he try and see if he can float a ball in? It's a wonderful ball into Kamada. And Kamada now to drive to the edge of the box. Takes it on. Drags it wide. Curtis Jones once again, though. This game really starting end to end here as Dennis is almost blocked off there by Mark Gay. The referee allows play to continue and Adam Wharton will bring this one away into Dominic Solanke. Once again into Kamada. We seem like we're getting some opportunities here down the centre of the park. Kamada this time into the box and this time he makes a much better fist of it and he just slots it past the goalkeeper inside the opening 15 minutes to give us a 1-0 lead here at Anfield. Well, it's Adam Wharton once again winning it in the heart of the midfield and playing those balls through, and this time it was Kamada just sneaking through the channel after Dominic Solanke just dropped off, and he made a much better finish this time. Lovely little touch away from Alisson, gave the goalkeeper no chance. The Liverpool defenders were frantic, and now we lead here 1-0. It's Jones, lovely ball into Dennis. It's Anderson who comes across, and Anderson with a wonderful challenge defensively. He is just invigorated us so much. He's been absolutely outstanding since making his way back into the starting 11 as Kamada skips away from a challenge and plays it across to Tyrick Mitchell now. The young man has acres of space to run into here, but plays it into Terran Moffey. Moffey can't get away. Matt Hovels with a lovely piece of defending, but Kamada will win the ball back. Floated across to absolutely no one. Curtis Jones now tries to take it away from Adam Wharton, but McAllister out to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Mo Salah flings it across to the left-hand side to Andy Robertson, but of course, who else is it going to be but Adam Wharton, who's there in the right place at the right time, and the young man now skips away from a couple of challenges and plays it across into Daniel Munoz, who just absolutely burst down this right-hand flank. He's got an option of Terran Moffey in the box. Moffey with the head over the bar. It's Tyrick Mitchell now. Nice little pass into Kamada. Kamada's got space. Floats a wonderful ball out to Munoz on the right-hand side. Munoz takes it on. Goes past Robertson. Floats it into the box looking for Terran Moffey once again. Isn't able to find him, but Kamada will pick up the scraps here. Munoz will go to float it back in. This time looking for Tyrick Mitchell with his head. Forces Alisson into a save. So it's Robertson now down this right-hand side. Munoz tries to come across here, but he just hasn't got the stamina to keep up. Curtis Jones into the box. Mark Gay with a thumping challenge. Wins it back. Gives it to, of course, the man, Adam Wharton, who tries to skip away from a couple of challenges, and much to my frustration, the referee blows for half-time. Well, it's another fabulous performance in the opening 45 minutes. This time we do have something to show for it as we take a 1-0 lead, but as we know, we cannot let it slip. We cannot let Liverpool back into the game here as we begin the second half. That's Daniel Munoz now trying to wriggle away from a couple of challenges. Floats it across to Tyrick Mitchell on the left-hand side. Really nicely done. Mitchell doesn't take it down particularly well, though, and loses out to Mo Salah. Dennis now into McAllister. McAllister to play it forward into Luis Diaz, who's in the centre of the park here. It's Anderson, though, of course, who else, who comes across, wins it back fairly, and Decore now will try and see if he can stretch his legs into Terran Moffey, who can't play the ball through into Dominic Solanke. Wharton will try and win it back. He doesn't. Liverpool bring it forward once again. End-to-end stuff here at the beginning of the second half. Curtis Jones trying to get away from Wharton. Plays it into Robertson. Gets it back for him. And now plays a wonderful ball into Luis Diaz. Cuts through the channel. Across the box. Pacho clears his lines. Lovely defensive clearance. Alexander-Arnold, though, into McAllister. Tyrick Mitchell can't win the ball back. Mo Salah, though, is blocked off by Pacho. Really good defending. Two lovely pieces of defending from the young man now. And now Terran Moffey into Dominic Solanke. Solanke's going to try and play it forward, but Virgil van Dijk read it really well there. And Liverpool now will go forward once again with Cody Gakpo into McAllister. McAllister bursts into the box, drags it wide. Well, once again, it's time to call the cavalry. My subs have been absolutely instrumental in helping us over the line in the last couple of games here. Let's see if they can do the same thing here today. It's Mark Gay to bring it out of defence. Finds Decore. Lovely little turn away from the Liverpool defender, but goes and gives it away in the process. And now Mo Salah skips away from the challenge of Pacho. Anderson comes across. Lovely pass into Cody Gakpo. Henderson with a wonderful save, and Mark Gay clears it off the line. Oh my word, Liverpool really starting to pressure us here, ramping up this pressure and really starting to turn the screw as Luis Diaz into the box he goes. Fires it into Henderson, blocked off. It's going to be a corner. It's one it looks like they are going to take short here. McAllister into the feet of Mo Salah. Mo Salah twisting away, but isn't able to get away from the challenge of Decore. But Cody Gakpo comes across and wins the ball back from him into Mo Salah. Mo Salah now trying to weave away, puts it onto his right. Henderson saves, and this time they've got other ideas for the corners as McAllister's going to float this one in, looking for the head of Luis Diaz, but it's Archie Gray on as a sub who heads it clear. It is backs to the walls here, all hands to the pump as Liverpool desperately trying to see if they can find a route back into this game. Mo Salah just drags it wide. This is all about how good we are defensively and whether or not we can still hit Liverpool on the counter as Kyle Walker-Peters with a lovely ball into Dominic Solanke, who plays the channel here. Dominic Solanke tries to play it across the box, somehow manages to keep it alive here. We've still got the ball down the right-hand side. Kyle Walker-Peters across, looks for Terran Moffey, loops it over, just over the bar. It's Alexander-Arnold into Mo Salah, lovely little pass into McAllister. He plays it into Cody Gakpo, who's found a nice little pocket of space central. And of course, Mo Salah now has acres of space down this left-hand flank, floated across though, but Kyle Walker-Peters is equal to it. And now Raksaki nods it down into Dominic Solanke. Solanke. Solanke plays it down the channel into Moffey. Is this the chance now to try and hit them on the counter? Terry Moffey picks it up, looking for an option. Can he find a ball across into Raksaki? It wasn't the best ball in the end, it goes out. But we've just got about a minute and a half of stoppage time to hold on here, and we have got Liverpool exactly where we want them, deep in their own half. Matt Hummels plays it out into Eze, the former Crystal Palace man, of course, but it's not enough as the referee blows for full time. And just how sweet is that victory? Another fabulous performance here away from home as I celebrate the travelling fans once again. Kamada proved absolutely devastating. His early goal was enough to separate the two teams here today. As a full-time era finishes, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Well, what an impact this formation change has had to the rest of the team. We keep another clean sheet and we continue our fine displays here this episode. We lift ourselves back up into 5th place, and now with us just being 5 points behind Arsenal, who knows? Can we mount a Champions League fight? But that is going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.